28 to 10, NewstalkZB. I got an email from Dieuwe a little earlier, and he said at the end, if you would like, I'll talk to you. So I thought talking rather than reading his email might be a more profitable exercise. Dieuwe, good morning.
Good morning, Leighton. Thanks for having me on.
A pleasure. Now, you say that this is how you start. Yesterday evening, I stopped by the anti-Trump rally to join the dozen or so counter-protesters. Why don't you pick it up from there?
Because, sorry, could you?
Why did you want to go and join the counter-protesters?
So because I wanted to stand up for our Western values and our society against a group of people who want to destroy borders and destroy nations. So I stand up for that, and I think that Trump's immigration policies are something that we should be thinking about, and that he has very good reasons for having those policies.
So there are only about a dozen or so of you there, correct?
Yes, and about a dozen or so different people came by at different times.
Now, who organised this counter rally?
It wasn't organised by anyone. We have a bunch of different Facebook groups and different people who are in there, and we see events like this. We saw this event here pop up, and a couple of us thought, hey, let's go along and give a different opinion and a different perspective. There,
you don't see a lot of demonstrating of this kind. It's why is it that it's the? I mean, I think I'm on very safe ground if I say it's the left that's doing the protesting.
Yes, I think you'd be very safe
all over the planet. Why is it that the right, just to stick with the terminology, why is it that the right doesn't do any of that? I mean, and as backup for that comment, you didn't see the Tea Party, for instance, going and burning Starbucks.
No, of course not. I think the right likes to have its voice heard at the polls on election day, and they're not in the business of generally rioting. And perhaps another reason is why we have so few people who sometimes come is, especially if we're trying to sort of counter-protest, is because there's often you're met with violence. And in this particular case, we had a wall of about 12, an actual wall of 12 police officers who, kept us safe for the entire evening. Else things would have not ended very well, I think.
All right. So you mentioned a guy called Daniel.
Yes. Yeah. So he's got a megaphone. He's done this a couple of times, and he goes out there and gives counterpoints. And in this particular case, about Islam and spreading, the truth of this ideology that people want to import into the West.
Is Daniel of any particular political persuasion that we might call unsavory?
No, absolutely not. No, he's a really nice guy. If you're asking whether he's a racist or is involved with fascism or anything, absolutely not. He's definitely very much into freedom and promoting freedom of speech, and that's really what it's all about.
How old's he? How old are you?
So I'm 20. I'll be 22 next week. And I'm not actually sure how old Daniel is, but I don't think he's that much older than me, really. Okay.
So when you say that he was denouncing Islam,
yes, yes.
Do you mean in its entirety, or are you talking about, or was you and he talking about Islamism as it's become known?
So we talk about Islamism as it's become known. It is an ideology that promotes violence against anything that is not Islamism, and promotes the removal of rights, and it legalizes the rape of women and children, and throws gays from buildings and that kind of thing. The sort of the global caliphate that they wish to set up.
So supporting Sharia.
Sharia law, yes.
Yes. In your opinion, or in your knowledge base, do you know whether Sharia is being promoted in New Zealand, and if so, how much?
I don't know how much it's being promoted openly, no. We do know that people who were involved in, at least in the States, in organizing some of these marches have been pro-Sharia law, and so it's possible that's the case in New Zealand, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay. So what was there... Those who were protesting, as far as you're concerned, against Trump, against his interim ban on travel from certain countries, and I refuse to call it Muslim ban because it's not,
no.
albeit that it's been promoted that way. What were the other lot? The bigger lot, what were they protesting exactly?
So going by their signs anyway, they had a lot of no walls, no borders, no nations signs. You had a couple of signs, things like Jews against Islamophobia, which, of course, as we know, there aren't that many thriving Jewish communities in most Islamic countries, so it's hard to tell really what they want or what they're after. And other people with signs like accept more refugees, punch more Nazis, the kind of signs that we see in the States where Trump supporters are being called Nazis and assaulted by the left.
How did it didn't get out of hand at all, obviously?
No. As I said, thankfully there were. Was
there any abuse from either side?
Other than words being thrown backwards and forwards.
No, I mean abuse words.
Words, yeah, in that sense, yes. I think at least I sort of kept a low profile. I went around and tried to talk to a couple of people, but afterwards I talked to a couple of people outside and, all got called Nazis a few dozen times and various other words that obviously can't be repeated on the radio. Yeah.
All right, so it all ended satisfactorily, though?
Yes, in this case, I think so. I've been on a couple of weeks ago at Trump's inauguration. We a couple of us, mainly different people, but Daniel was there, went out to there was an anti-Trump protest there that we went to, and there were no police at the time, and someone got punched and had a few bricks thrown at us and things like that, but it was nothing that bad this time because the police were there.
All right. So again, let me conclude with the similar question to the one I started with. Why are you so interested? Why are you physically involving yourself?
Because I think that it's no longer okay for us to sit down and, I'm from a very sort of traditional right-wing background, and it's always, we sort of always take a step back and think that we can, persuade people with just having some, very good written arguments, and that they will come and find them. Sort of, if we build it, they will find it. But I'm realizing that we're losing a lot of ground, and we have to get out there and, put ourselves at a little bit of risk doing so to get the message out there and to stand up, because, if my generation isn't going to do it, then there may not be a future. We may lose this war, or we may lose this battle against, those who wish to overthrow the borders and nations and who wish to bring in ideologies that are not compatible with ours.
Your biggest problem? You didn't have a liberal humanist education.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dieuwe. NewstalkZB, it's 19 to 10.